What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude again. I don't know if this is your first video back watching me, or just your first video interested in this topic. This is kind of like a new layout. Go and watch my old videos. You'll see my original layout. Let me know what you liked better. If you like this or the comic long boxes and all my posters, all that junk. But without further ado, guys, we're talking about it. The DC CW crossover, Heroes versus Aliens, here on the Will West Show.
Knock, knock, open up the door.
It's Will!
So, Heroes versus Aliens. The CW has been hyping this 4-part crossover ever since they got the rights to put Supergirl on the CW. And not gonna lie, I was pretty hyped for this and I was super excited. So we're gonna tackle each episode individually and how it fares in the crossover. So let's dive into Supergirl. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here, guys. Supergirl is not technically part of this crossover, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because Supergirl is a badass and is probably one of the better of the heroes in this. We get little teases and Easter eggs. We get like little rips in the universe where Cisco and Flash are trying to find her to get her to come to their universe. But that's like the only really tie to the episode. But anyway, I'll talk about the episode by itself. Let's talk about the bulk of the episode. Hank Henshaw, the original Hank Henshaw, not John Jones, but Cyborg Superman, has gotten a hold of some of Kara's blood and has been able to hack the Fortress of Solitude and figure out about this project called Project Medusa. This thing can kill a bunch of aliens and pretty much anyone that's not a Kryptonian on Earth. So Supergirl has to stop Cyborg Superman and Cadmus because this is going too far, and she doesn't want Kryptonians to be remembered for this crazy act of terrorism. At one point, Kara and Lena Luthor's relationship is tested at one point too. She breaks it to her that her mom is part of Cadmus and that she actually held her captive. And then as Kara Danvers, she's trying to get more intel on her mom. And it just kind of like brings some old demons up about Lex and the mother, because apparently she took to Lex more since like he went the more evil route. But then it looks like at one point that Lena is going to the dark side and going to help her mom with Cadmus and like help disperse its disease. We also get an awkward Thanksgiving dinner. Alex actually wants to come out to her mother, but she doesn't know how she's going to take it. Jimmy wants to come out as the Guardian, but Alex assures him like to not do that. Supergirl will not be cool with that. And Mon-El is actually just trying to talk with Helen Slater, Kara's mom, to like get close with her, so because he actually likes her and has been falling in love with her this season. And there's some like nice tender moments there. The little ripple in the universe where Cisco and Flash are trying to find her kind of ruins the dinner or whatever, but it was a solid episode. John Jones actually gets cured of like his white Martian disease from Megan, because something with Project Medusa was able to fix that. Some weird plot convenience. That was okay. But once we get to the crossover, Cisco and Flash are there saying, "Look, Kara, like you know how I helped you last season. Can you like help me this time?" So hey, what are we in for? Then it goes to be continued, and that was brilliant. I like all these little end credits and like little title credit things that they do to get us hyped for the next episode. So now we actually get to the bulk of the crossover in Flash. We see a flash forward. Well, we don't know it's a flash forward initially, but it's of Oliver and Flash being pinned down at Star Labs. They're getting attacked by something. Everybody's assuming it's the Dominators, but it's actually Supergirl, the Legends of Tomorrow, and pretty much everyone in like their little I guess their family, their league. We'll call them the Justice League. The Justice League has essentially turned on Barry and Green Arrow, and that's essentially where the scene like, oh, this is why we're up the creek now, Barry, because of you, blah, blah, blah. Then we get back to the present, or at least how this thing all got kicked off. Wally is being trained at Star Labs, and everybody wants him to suppress his powers. They don't want him to get hurt, even though he is faster than Barry at this point in getting his powers. They're just like worried about him because he's a teenager, he's brash. They don't want him to get hurt. But that comes into play later with the rest of the episode. Then a spaceship crashes in Central City. Barry finds it. It's the Dominators. He's like, I gotta get the team together. He ends up spoiling some of Arrow's fun. He ends up getting like the main crew and bringing them to Star Labs after they're trying to catch Vigilante. Everyone's rightfully annoyed, and then they go get Supergirl. And I gotta say this, they end up showing the scene that they showed at the end of the Supergirl episode in this. So technically Supergirl isn't even relevant to the crossover. It rubbed me the wrong way, because I think I just said it earlier that Supergirl deserves to stand on her own. Maybe there was too much of a budget issue, because like the special effects to make her fly and use all of her powers costs a lot of money. I'm not sure, but it just rubbed me the wrong way that the Supergirl episode is essentially irrelevant to the crossover. After everyone's rejoicing and getting ready to re-meet each other and get to know each other, Martin Stein and Jackson Jefferson, I forget his name, but I'll call him Applejacks. Applejacks and Martin Stein, Firestorm, get Barry and Oliver in the back and play this message from the future from Barry, essentially pretty much saying that, hey, the Flash in the present right now, his view is askew. You cannot trust him. I changed the past, and it's causing errors now in the present and the future. I'm sorry, guys, but you cannot trust me in this timeline. They all decide to keep it a secret, kind of stupidly, and then Cisco eventually finds it and rats him out. He's still a bit salty about Dante being dead in this timeline now because of Barry's actions causing the Flashpoint paradox, but more or less the team is annoyed with Barry because the Legends of Tomorrow, they can easily fix the timeline too and do whatever they want, but they don't. I thought that was a bit out of character, especially for Sarah, because she's been trying to kill Damien Dark, at least for the first 3 or 4 episodes that Damien Dark has been featured this season, so I don't know where she got the moral. I don't know where she got the moral high ground there, but that's just me. Oliver actually sticks up for Barry and has actually been saying hey, he's the one who found the aliens, he's the one that brought us all together right now, we need him now. Who cares if we change the timeline? We need him now more than ever. And they're like, oh no, Oliver, you stick with him as well. The rest of the league goes to stop the Dominators, and of course,
It's a trap!
they get brainwashed, and then we get about to the point where we were in the beginning of the episode with Oliver and Barry being pinned down. They're getting their butts kicked. There's no way they're going to get out of this alive. And then Wally says, hey, I got to step up here. I got to save them. They're going to die. He gives them an edge up in the fight. Barry ends up tricking Supergirl into destroying the device that was mind controlling them. It was awesome, very solid. Then we get to the end of the episode. Oliver and company are okay, let's split up. We gotta regroup and get our bearings. Diggle, you need to go tell your wife and Argus that these aliens aren't here friendly, and then we'll deal with this in the next episode. He doesn't really say the next episode, but you know what I'm saying. And then him, Ray, Diggle, Thea, because Thea came out of retirement, and Sarah all get abducted by the Dominators, and Barry's too slow to catch them. So part 2 of the crossover, and Arrow's 100th episode. I gotta say, this is one of the better episodes, but we end up opening to the rest of the team, Flash and Supergirl, going to Star City to let everyone know what had happened, and they're gonna try to regroup and find Oliver and everybody with some Dominator technology they received in the last episode. Meanwhile, Oliver and everybody is in a dream state, in a little dream parallel world where their parents didn't die, Oliver didn't become the Green Arrow, stuff like that. It's almost if you guys ever watched Batman the Animated Series, it's Perchance to Dream. That's an episode where Bruce wakes up in a similar scenario. He's getting ready to marry Selena Kyle. His parents are still alive, but Batman is still around. Some things of note, Diggle is the Green Arrow in this universe and still works with Felicity. I don't know how that works, but this is a dream world. It doesn't really have to make sense. Ray's about to marry Felicity. Oliver's getting ready to marry Laurel. She's alive in this universe. But then they start getting flashes of their past life. They're going no, this isn't real. This can't be happening. We got to get out of here. We got to be responsible. And this is the Dominators. They're trying to get into our brains. They're trying to get something from us. So eventually, they all kind of sort of snap out of it. Oliver takes the lead on this. And I'm not gonna lie here, guys. I got some man tears with him having to tell Laurel and his parents goodbye. When he just hugs them for really, really hard. I was oh God, ouch, hurt so bad because it was so heartfelt, and just, if nothing else, this was a good milestone for the show as well, and this was a good way to pay tribute to all the past characters who probably won't be able to return in future things, or just stuff like that. I really enjoyed that, and enjoyed seeing Laurel back. Eventually, they all are all attacked by projections of their darkest demons. Damien Dark's there. John Barrowman is there as Malcolm Merlin. I definitely like that guy. I feel like I met him at once. I did. But they fight them off. Thea, actually, they were going to leave Thea initially because she didn't want to leave her parents again or her family. And Oliver's that's fine, but we can't come back for you. If you're going to stay here, you're staying here. She snaps out of it because she eventually comes to the rationale that hey, Oliver, you're my family, and I can't lose you because you are real. This is fake. So they end up fighting their demons off, getting out, and they get into an escape pod on the Dominator ship. And they're getting ready to get killed by all the Dominators because they have these really crappy X-Wings. They look like X-Wings. I can't not see it. They're about to stop them, but then the Wave Rider swoops in and gets them. And then, to be continued in Legends of Tomorrow, the grand finale. So now we get to the grand finale, Legends of Tomorrow. Everybody's regrouped. We're mainly hanging out with the Legends, but they need to figure out how to beat these Dominators. So Felicity and Cisco hop in with a few of the Legends to go back to the 50s, where they know that there are some Dominators and that the U.S. has actually acquired one of them and is doing experiments. They go back, and while that's happening, the president or some higher up government guy comes to the Hall of Justice. I forgot to mention that too. Star Labs has this facility that is the Hall of Justice, essentially, and it's just so awesome to see it in live action. I think there's even a poster of it with all the characters like standing in front of it. I got to get that. I'll put it up here somewhere. Maybe I'll just put it over me talking right now. I don't know. I'm just rambling now, but this guy ends up saying like, hey, like we made a truce with the Dominators, and the only thing they want is Barry Allen since he changed the timeline. And at one point, Barry's even going like, I gotta give myself up. Like the Flashpoint thing is my fault, and all the time changes. If this is my punishment, I gotta take it. Oliver and everyone's like, hey, even though we were a little bit grumpy with you in the first episode of the crossover, we can't let this happen. There's another way, Barry. We'll figure out how to stop them. Meanwhile, in the past, that same guy, a younger version of that guy, is apparently the one who had the Dominator chained up while they're doing experiments and getting this truce set up. Cisco, Felicity, and the legends that go with them end up breaking him out. He owes them one in the future and lets them know, like, hey, like, we're not trying to attack you guys. We're just scared of metahumans. Like, we've been burnt before by other aliens and people with high powers, and these guys can't be walking around like gods. That's their main problem with metahumans. They all regroup in 2016, and they have a final fight with him. And I gotta say, this rivals the Captain America Civil War fight. Like here's Civil War, and then boom, the Legends crossover fight. Oh my god, it's only second to that. I mean, there's still plenty of year left for another fight in comic book shows or movies to like prove me wrong, but at this point, it was pretty dope. Everybody had a moment to shine. They kicked the Dominator's ass. It was really awesome. They get commemorated at the end of the episode at the Hall of Justice. They have a little party as well, and there's some of the funnier moments here too. Ray Palmer makes a joke that Melissa Benoist looks like his cousin. Like, I mean, that's funny because he was Superman at one point in the movies, and she's Supergirl now. So I was like, you guys pay attention. We love those lines. We love stuff like that. Everybody goes on their way, and then Cisco gives Kara a device. It's like maybe about this big, a little plot device, we'll call it, that will help her cross over in future events. And we know that's happening later with the Flash and Supergirl musical crossover. That's happening later this year. And who knows if maybe they'll learn from their lesson and actually make Supergirl's episode a part of the 4-part crossover next year if it's still around. Barry and Oliver end up grabbing like a beer like at the bar, even though it doesn't really affect any of them. But they're going like, wow, we've come like a long way since the beginning. And like they really have. Like we had the original crossover with Barry just coming for 2 episodes in Green Arrow to set up the Flash show. That was brilliant. The Flash versus Arrow crossover, awesome. Like that got us even more hyped for Batman versus Superman, I think. The Legends crossover to get the Legends show set up, that was pretty good as well. And now this one, the bar is set super high. Like so next year, like you guys better bring it. I'm not going to rate this. I believe the shows should stand on their own, but like I highly recommend this. If you're just a DC fan, like you're going to have so much fun watching this. If you've been watching all these shows, it's good to see like everyone play off of each other. But that's about it for me, guys. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Who's your favorite standout character? Personally, for me, I like Citizen Steel. He's my boy. His costume's kind of reminiscent of Captain America's, and he's a dork. He knows about all these heroes and all this stuff, and I feel like that's me almost. But I keep jumping between him, Barry, and Ray. But that's about it for me, guys. Press the like button down below, subscribe, do all that junk for me. It means the world to me. Like me on Facebook, The Will West Show, Willie Westside 12 on Twitter, and on YouTube. And that's about it for me, guys. And just remember, when there's a will, there's a way. Thanks for watching.